All right, so stop me if you heard this before. The Denver Broncos just went all in on trading away picks for one guy. Last year, the Broncos made what I thought was one of the worst trades I can think of in recent memory, giving away a boatload of picks, pretty much the same package, if not actually way worse than Matthew Stafford, and acquiring Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, as we all know, colossally flopped for the Broncos in year one. A lot of people blame Nathaniel Hackett. And while I believe there's a lot of blame to certainly go towards Nathaniel Hackett, I also think Russell Wilson just honestly was on his way towards regressing. I think he was starting to go downhill. May not have been as big as it was last year, but he was starting to. And Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks made the right move to get rid of him. And we saw Geno Smith looked pretty good in an offense that, well, Russell Wilson I don't think would have looked as good. So what is the deal? Is Russell Wilson going to figure this out? I don't know, but I can tell you right now, Sean Payton is now the Denver Broncos head coach. I hate this move for Denver, just like I hated the move trading away all those picks for Russell Wilson. At the end of the day, I don't think Sean Payton is that great. I think he's a good coach. He's won a Super Bowl, obviously, but let's be honest here. While he has a bunch of seasons in his own right, winning at least 10 games, he has 6 seasons with Drew Brees in which he didn't actually win 10 games. And in addition to that, he had 3 straight 7-9 seasons with Drew Brees. He had some stacked rosters, so you would have thought he would have had more than one Super Bowl, but no. Alas, he has not won a Super Bowl since 2009. He also has a 9-8 record in the postseason. That's not something to make me feel great about, honestly. He's one loss away from having just a 500 record. Is that a great coach or a good coach? I think it's a good coach. I think at the end of the day, is Sean Payton better than Jeff Fisher? Yeah, but I don't think he's that much better than Jeff Fisher if you really think about it. I mean, Fisher had obviously more seasons way below 10 wins. But if you actually look, Fisher didn't have the talent that Sean Payton dealt with. And Sean Payton had 6 seasons in which he didn't even touch 10 wins. So, this is my raw reaction to it. The signing just got announced and everything. And the hiring. And I just do not like this. A first rounder and a second rounder next year, which apparently is a pick swap, which either way, it's still stupid. This to me, as a sports fan, feels like Doc Rivers all over again, aka motivational speaker. Doc Rivers was traded for, I believe it was a first-round pick, and I just think trading for coaches is just blatantly stupid. Look, I understand that he has the experience. I get that, okay? I do get he has the experience. He's won a Super Bowl. He has what it takes, whatever. But just because you got burned by Vic Fangio, just because you got burned by Nathaniel Hackett, doesn't mean that you can no longer give these guys an opportunity. There's a ton of rumors out there that DeMeco Ryans already had his eyes set on returning to Houston where he played, and he was just hired as the head football coach there. And if that's the case, okay. But there's also Raheem Morris. There's Brian Flores. There's Ejiro Evero, Jonathan Gannon, Shane Steichen, Brian Callahan, Thomas Brown, Shane Bowen, Lou Anarumo. I would also say Shane Waldron on the Seahawks. I mean, there are a lot of guys that I would have preferred, and just for the simple fact that I wouldn't have had to give up a first-round pick and done a pick swap in 2024. Here's the thing, okay? First off, if you're sitting there wondering how the hell the Broncos have any picks to trade, well, here's that answer for you. Believe it or not, you might have forgotten about it, but they traded Bradley Chubb away to acquire a first-round pick and a third-round pick. Well, guess what? So that first-round pick is now going for Sean Payton. So even though they traded all those picks away for Russell Wilson, they actually got their pick back in the first round. They're trading it away for a head football coach. Okay. This team won, 4 or 5 games last year? This is not a team that should be going all in, but it appears that's what they're doing. It appears that they really feel like they're on the cusp of something here, and that Sean Payton can turn around Russell Wilson, and they can. But here's the thing. Sean Payton had more help. He had draft picks. He had a better quarterback. He had all sorts of stuff, right? And that team only won 1 Super Bowl back in 2009. Is it safe to say the league is somewhat past Sean Payton by? I think to a degree, yeah. But I mean, the thing is here, how is Sean Payton going to turn this thing around? And what is turning it around? And how, like, are you going all in to just simply make the playoffs? Or are you going all in to try to win a Super Bowl? There's just so much I have so many issues with this. I can't decide which trade was worse, the Russell Wilson trade or the Sean Payton trade. Making the Sean Payton move after you've already traded away all those picks for Russell Wilson is just blatantly stupid to me. Now, on the flip side of it, if you're a Saints fan, you're probably feeling great. This guy quit on you as soon as Drew Brees left. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe he didn't want to get exposed. So he takes a year off. He doesn't actually retire, right? We thought he was, but he comes back out of retirement and he's on another team now because he thinks, well, I can make Russell Wilson great. That's what guys with big egos have, and Sean Payton has a big ego. So if you're a Saints fan, you're definitely happy. You got a first-round pick, and you get a pick swap next year. Your third rounder turns into a second, so that's good for you. But, you know, I think if you're a Broncos fan, you have to hate this. The Saints, it's like, all right, you keep doing what you're doing. You had a competitive roster. Maybe you can go out and get your quarterback of the future now with that pick. I don't know. I mean, I look at, you know, the Broncos and I'm like, I don't really love their roster. I don't really love the direction they're going in. I do think, unlike a few teams last year where I thought, you know, their losses were a little fluky, their win-loss record was a little fluky, the Broncos just weren't that good of a football team. I think we all kind of pegged them as some great team, but, you know, regardless of Nathaniel Hackett, I don't care. I don't think that they're close to being a playoff team. I don't know how they're going to beat the Chiefs once out of those two games. They're in the Super Bowl. I don't know how they're going to beat the Chargers. I don't know how they're going to beat the Raiders if they go out and get, you know, a Tom Brady or an Aaron Rodgers or somebody like that. So my thoughts are very simple. I think this move sucks for a lot of reasons. You know, I've already mentioned all of them, but I really don't like this move for the Broncos. I don't know what you're doing. I understand you have new ownership. How is this new ownership going to pitch Sean Payton to his, like, hey, guys, yeah, I know you guys went through a tough year with all of those losses, and you're going to see that really high first-round pick go to the Seattle Seahawks. That's not something we can control. However, we can control the fact we do have a first-round pick, and we've traded it for Sean Payton. That's right. We traded it for a head coach. Yep. Yeah, exactly. How do you pitch that? How do you pitch that to a fan base that's coming off such a disappointing season? I don't know, man. I'm very out on the Denver Broncos. I think they're right now, it's a chaotic organization that I would not want to be a part of if I'm a player, if I'm a coach. I think it's why Ejiro Evero took himself out of the running entirely and didn't want to be the interim head coach. I think he sees it. I think it's pretty obvious. A lot of people see it. It's not a good place right now. You went from, hey, we're going to get Hackett, we'll probably get Rodgers, to now you're stuck with Russell Wilson. You traded a total of 4 first-round picks away for Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. I don't know. To me, This is not a good move. And when you look at the other teams in the league doing better things, like the Jets potentially going out and getting either Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers, they're a quarterback away. I don't even know if the Broncos have their quarterback, and now they're going out and they're justifying getting rid of a first-round pick on a head coach. Yeah, guys, in the words of pretty much any shark, you know, in the Shark Tank show, I'm out. I'm totally out. I'm so out on the Denver Broncos. Congratulations on the New Orleans Saints and their fans. You just made the biggest fleece of 2023.